China's President Xi Jinping has said he believes his visit will lift UK-China relations to a new height. The UK and China were becoming more interdependent and a community of shared interests, he told MPs. Earlier Mr. Xi and his wife, Peng Liyuan, took part in a procession along the Mall to Buckingham Palace, where a state banquet will be held later. The visit comes amid job losses in the UK steel sector, with cheap Chinese imports among factors being blamed. Tata Steel has announced the latest in a series of cuts, with 1,200 jobs going at its plants in Scunthorpe and Lanarkshire. Prime Minister David Cameron has said he will raise the steel issue in talks with Mr. Xi. Addressing peers and MPs in the Royal Gallery at Westminster, the Chinese leader said that, although his 4-day visit had just started, he was deeply impressed by the vitality of China-UK relations. Although China and the UK are located at opposite ends of the Eurasian continent, we have a long shared deep mutual affection, he said. In an 11-minute speech, the president quoted Shakespeare as well as ancient Chinese proverbs. He was introduced by Commons Speaker John Bercow, who praised Myanmar's opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi and the innate human right of freedom. BBC China editor Carrie Gracie said this would be perceived as a bit of a dig at China on the issue of human rights. President Xi and Madam Peng then travelled to Clarence House to meet the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall for tea. He later met the Duke of Cambridge at Buckingham Palace, ahead of the state banquet. Earlier, President Xi was welcomed by the Queen, the Duke of Edinburgh and Mr. Cameron during the ceremony in Horse Guards Parade, while a 41-gun salute was held in nearby Green Park. He then took part in a carriage procession along the Mall, as he headed to Buckingham Palace for lunch with the Queen. Mr. Xi also held talks with Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn and is due to meet Mr. Cameron. Labour said Mr. Corbyn raised a number of issues, including human rights and steel during a cordial and constructive meeting. Protests have been held on the Mall and outside Parliament by members of the anti-China Free Tibet group and the human rights group Amnesty International. Crowds of anti-China protesters and pro-China supporters also gathered in front of Buckingham Palace. Ministers expect more than £30 billion of trade and investment deals to be struck during the 4-day visit. The Treasury hopes that within 10 years China will be Britain's second biggest trading partner. However, critics have accused the government of kowtowing to Beijing. If you act like a panting puppy, the object of your attention is going to think they have got you on a leash, James McGregor, chairman of consultancy group APCO Worldwide's Chinese operations, said. Foreign Secretary Philip Hammond denied the government was being naive, saying it was very much in our national interest to engage with China. I think we are developing a mature relationship with the Chinese, he said. They know that we are looking not just to China but to many other countries for infrastructure investment in the UK. The trip has been hailed by officials from both countries as the start of a golden era of relations. Chinese companies are to be allowed to take a stake in British nuclear power plants, and a trip by Mr. Xi and Mr. Cameron to Manchester later in the week is expected to see the announcement of further investment in the so-called Northern Powerhouse project. But the visit comes after China's economy grew by 6.9% in the third quarter, the weakest rate since the global financial crisis. In the customary exchange of gifts during a state visit, the Queen gave the Chinese president a collection of Shakespeare's sonnets and the monarch received 2 of his wife's folk albums in return. Xi Jinping is said to be a fan of the bard, while his wife Madam Peng is a celebrated singer in her home country. The state banquet will be attended by members of the royal family, including Prince William and the Duchess of Cambridge, as well as Mr. Cameron and Mr. Corbyn. Prince Charles, a friend of the exiled Tibetan leader, the Dalai Lama, will not be attending, but no official reason has been given for his absence.